Hello and welcome to the New Age Geek channel. If you're new here, we build an inclusive space for people of all walks of life through the power of friendship, magic, and tabletop role-playing games. Tonight we have Investigation Check, our regular irregular interview show where we dive into the lives of the geeky creators you want to know about. For tonight's episode, we have fellow interviewer, talk show host, professional GM, AP player, and the BIPOC diversity advocate, Sam of ClassicSamNYGM. What's up, Sammy?
That's a lot. I feel like that was a lot. That was way more than I felt like. I feel like I sent you, but I'm good. How are you?
Good. How you been? Rough day, huh?
It's been a Thursday.
Yeah.
It feels like it's Monday, but we're almost there, so we're good.
Almost there.
Almost there is always the best feeling. Like, tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
I get to be like in jeans at work, which makes me ecstatic.
Tennessee schools end next week.
Really?
Yeah, they're in really early because I'm from New York originally, so
yeah,
they don't end till like
what do you mean end in May?
So that's
what do they do for extra month? Like, I don't understand.
They also go back in like August.
Okay, so fair.
Yeah.
All right, so that makes sense.
It's just like, I'm not ready for kids to be in the house.
Yeah. Not only that, but like, it's a weird thing because the kids stay in the house for you, but for everyone who's doing mass transit, it's like it's quiet now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, because for me right now, it's like I get home, I leave work around 4:30.
Yeah.
And it is chaos on the mass transit system because teenagers are a thing.
Yeah, I don't miss that.
like you don't realize how loud you are as a teenager until you're an adult around teenagers. Like, Jesus Christ, they're loud. But it's fine. It's okay. I get it. It's fine.
Oh, all right. You ready to dive into tonight's episode, Sam?
Let's go.
All right.
I am thoroughly nervous because you know how I feel about being on this side of the.
Yes, it is a much different experience.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm. You know how I feel. I'm excited, but I'm also just like, what's happening?
Have you been interviewed before?
I have been interviewed before, and every single time it feels weird.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not often, so when it does happen, it's like. Okay, I want to ask questions, but I'm gonna behave and I'm gonna stay in my lane here today, and it's gonna be fine.
Actually, before we dive into tonight, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone where they can catch you, all the things you're doing.
So you can find me mostly on Twitch at everywhere at ClassicSamNYGM, but mostly on Twitch where I do the interview shows, chatting with me. You can also find me on other social media platforms. Where you can find those interviews on YouTube and on TikTok with clips and everything else. If you want to see me in person, you can find me at conventions. The next big one for me is Gen Con.
Okay. All right. Then I need you to take me back in time to little 6-pound, 2-ounce Sam coming fresh out of the womb.
Who was 6 pounds?
I was 10 when I was born, so.
I think I was 7 pounds and some change. I feel like it was 7 pounds, 9 or 10 ounces or something, but I was not 6.
I was so close. So talk to me. You come out of the womb. What is like your first kind of interaction with the geek space? Like what kind of is that first hook for you?
So the first hook for me was, I forget what year it was, but I think I was maybe 10 or 11. I can't remember. I remember begging, and I mean absolutely begging for a video game system. Mm-hmm. And at the time it was, I'm so going to date myself. At the time, the hot video game system was Atari. And I wanted one so bad. Like, I begged and pleaded. And one Christmas, my parents was just like, there weren't a lot of toys. It was kind of like, all right, whatever. I'm going to back up. For a Black West Indian house, there are parameters to Christmas morning. You don't just get to run down the stairs and go directly to the tree. No. You have to go downstairs, prepare breakfast, eat breakfast. Then, after you're eating breakfast, make sure there's tea or coffee. Okay? so that it's on the coffee table as well as little snacks, and then your father has to set up the camera,
Yeah.
the camcorder, and then you can open presents. So it's a small little torture. So that happened, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then open this beautiful present, and it's like an Atari. I don't remember what the hell else I got that year. I know I got an Atari. I know I got Space Invaders, and I got Pac-Man, and I got that stupid tennis game.
Pong?
Yeah, that one. That was it. But those three I got. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it about video games that kind of was drawing you in, especially for something like that where there's not a heavy story?
Well, so with video games, it's something that you can do by yourself and you can learn and you can get really good at. Whereas in school, whether you was sports or some type of academic something, you had to. There was like a proving ground, and if you weren't really excelling in those things, you weren't part of the popular kids. You weren't part of the in group. You weren't part of those cliques. So I tended to. I was okay at it, but I wasn't great at it, so I wasn't part of those cliques. So with video games, I could be totally by myself, get really, really good, and it was fine, and it was like my own thing. And then my neighbor, my next door neighbor, who has since moved years ago, we're the same age, and he got an Atari and a ColecoVision. Like we got both things. We got ColecoVision. And we strung like this string across our bedroom windows because it was directly, and like passed games back and forth that way. But it was amazing, like total geek stuff, like total 80s, 90s geek.
Yeah.
Back and forth window nonsense.
So, at what point do we kind of start to explore other geeky mediums? Like, when do we? Because
I think it started when I was maybe, when I was maybe like, maybe I started turning a teenager, and I transitioned from middle school to high school. I stayed in the same school, so it wasn't that big of a transition. But I started reading science fiction books and fantasy books and stuff like that, like to the point where it became a detriment to my studies sometimes. Like I would read in class. I'd be like under the desk, like having some book in class. Like, so I would be in trouble a lot because of it, but it was fine. So that's when the transition where like I discovered fantasy and fairies. I still have like some old books and stuff, but fairies and all this other stuff that started. So
what about those stories kind of was hooking you where you just had like this obsession with reading?
So I know a lot of geeks can kind of connect with this, but I like a lot of nerds and geeks were not popular, at least in my opinion. I was one of them. Like I was not the popular kid. Like I was chubby and not classically, that girl. I wasn't that. So it was a place where I could just like, it was okay to look a certain way. You could look different and still be like powerful. You could still be beautiful or enchanting or charming or something. You didn't have to look like the supermodel of the 80s or 90s or whatever. Like it wasn't that thing. So when I read fantasy, I knew that if I could be a fairy, I could be a goblin and still be that person. I could still be the hero, even though I wasn't, I didn't look a certain way.
Okay. So was there like a particular story that you remember reading that kind of like really was that influence on you?
Was it a story? I don't think it was a story. I think it was a movie.
Okay.
Oh my God. And right now I'm trying to think of the movie and it's stuck. I feel like Johnny Depp might have been in it. Oh God. What is that? It's like, it was Johnny Depp and it was, it is going to be on the tip of my tongue. Johnny Depp was one of the characters. Oh God, what is his name? Oh my God, that's so irritating. Holy cow. I can't remember his name. Super popular. He was in Clue. He was in God, he was in Oh shit. I can't remember the name of the movie, but right now it's stuck in my head. But it's a movie where he like had huge horns. He was like a devil. He was red, and like he tried to like. Oh my god! It's everyone knows this movie. I'm quite sure people know this movie. Oh my god! I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. Now I gotta look it up. I have to look it up. Um. Oh god, Johnny Depp was definitely in it. Um. It wasn't what that. I think it was Johnny Depp. What's the movie where the song for Time Warp?
Uh,
Let's do
yeah.
time.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
See? Thank you. Okay. The guy from Rocky Horror Picture Show was the devil in this fantasy.
Okay. Tim Curry.
Thank you. Okay, so Tim Curry was in this movie.
Legend.
Yes. Thank you. Oh my god, that was horrible. That hurt my feelings. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so Legend was the turning point, because Legend was like, what do you mean? Like, it was, even though she's like classically beautiful, the actress, the whole idea of she can be seduced almost by this horrific looking like beast.
Yeah, Tim Curry just his heavy makeup that movie.
That was some heavy makeup. Like, I was like, that was impressive. So that was the turning point for me. Like, I was like, this is what I love to watch. This is what I want to like delve into. So it started with Legend, and then Never Ending Story. Every kid knows Never Ending Story.
Yep.
And then every other fantasy I could think of came after it. Labyrinth. All the rest of them came afterwards.
A lot of dark fantasy in the 80s too.
Yeah. I know, Curly Insane Guy.
So that threw me up. So do you see those influences coming across now, like these dark fantasy genre tropes? Like, do you see that influencing the way you GM, and how does that kind of happen?
Oh, 100%. It's still to this day. Like, so I take a lot of influences for my GMs and for my one shots and for my home tables from movies still, and they're usually pretty dark. So right now the influences are Korean dramas, which are heavily dark, but I still pull from from stuff like Legend. So a lot of my stories have like a dark-ish theme, a gray area theme, not necessarily evil, because I feel like that's too easy. Doing it the evil versus good thing, it seems too evil. But there's like, I like gray area, and a lot of the movies that I used to watch, it's a lot of gray area that people never really like thought about. Like with Never Ending Story, all this shit that happened with that little kid was because of this girl, this princess, and not for nothing, that's some fucked up shit to do to a kid.
Yeah, that movie's fucking wild.
That was wild. And it was a very gray area, and I get that she did it to save her as a ruler, to save her world, but still, like, girl, that's some fucked up shit to do to someone. But okay, do your thing. Let's kill a horse.
So you're watching these movies, you're kind of building this influence, you're enjoying these fantasy tales and these morally ambiguous stories. At what point does that kind of start to translate into the tabletop space? At what point do you kind of like crack that book open?
It didn't start until after COVID.
Okay.
So because even though I came in on 3.5, it never occurred to me to pull some movies that I liked. It just like, my whole thing was, I started with 3.5. and then I hated the experience that I had. Went to 4E, enjoyed GMing as in the 4E space, and then kind of dropped it. But I, even though I used, and I say use very very lightly here, very loosely, manual modules. I pulled ideas from modules and then just homebrewed from there.
Yeah.
So you know, so it was never. I never really thought about it until after COVID when. Well, kind of after during COVID when I decided like, okay, well, I'll start doing this again. It seems like something to do to reach out to people and to connect again because COVID was a thing, and um, so that's when I was like, instead of pulling from modules, because I started looking at the new modules, like I wasn't impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Watson. Sorry, I wasn't impressed with the new modules. So I started pulling from movies, and that's where the idea started really coming out with like the semi-dark gray area, morally ambiguous themes.
Well, what was like that first experience then? Because you said you started with 3.5, and obviously that's a before COVID. So what kind of was that first? What? How were you first exposed into the TTRPG space?
So I'll go back before COVID and before 3.5. So my first TTRPG was Shadowrun.
Okay.
And that was when I was in college. And it was me and ex-boyfriend who was also like weirdly a geek but not. Very strange combination there. And then a bunch of other guys, and they were just like, come hang out at the table. I'm like, all right, cool. And we were playing, and it was like, I distinctly remember this scene where he describes we're supposed to go on this run, and we're encountering this like semi BBEG, and I'm like attempting to use magic here in the Shadowrun universe and failing miserably.
Okay.
like it was like, yeah, you get hit. Yeah, your companions get hit. You miss. I was like, God damn it! And then it occurred to me, wait a minute, I can do whatever the fuck I want. So instead of using magic, like I pull my gun and I shoot him. I win. Like, and it was like you hit him dead in the head. I was like, I love this. This is awesome. So that was the first interaction. Then after that, I got into 3.5, and that experience wasn't the best. It was a very I was the only black woman there. I was the only black person there. And they let me know that I was the only woman there. It wasn't racist, but it's very misogynistic.
Okay.
And very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And a lot of innuendos of doing things to my character that was just like, I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah.
I think I lasted maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm done. I was like, this is gross.
Yeah.
You guys are horrific, and I never want to see you again. So yeah, that was my experience with 3.5, and I didn't play until 4E came out, and then I was just like, I could do it better.
So, someone who's never played 4, what is that system kind of like? I understand it was a big departure, and a lot of people have complaints about it, but some people do enjoy the system.
Yeah.
What was it about it that you feel like you enjoyed?
So, if I say this time and time and again, and I'm gonna die on this hill, 4E is for the GM. It is one of the best books to learn how to GM, learn the system, be able to do combat and understand how that works and the dynamics of it and the mechanics of it and how it works. It's horrific for the player. I'm not gonna lie. If you're a player, you will hate 4E. It is a slog fest. It is hard to role play in that idea because it's a lot of rolling and a lot of give me this check, give me that check. So it's hard for the player. It's great for the GM. Even now, I still use 4E, the 4E monster manual for 5E because they have better descriptions. They have better mechanics. They have better actions. They have better. There's so many things that happen. Like I'll take giants for example. 5E, all giants are the same. I don't care if it's a fire giant. I don't care what kind of giant it is. They all have the same actions.
Mm-hmm.
In 4E, there's a significant difference between a a hill giant and a fire giant. There's a significant. Their actions are different.
Really?
Everything is different. It's very specific to the lore of that monster. So, and they stopped doing it in 5e. 5e, they made it very generic, and I get why to a point, but still.
Yeah.
If you want very like some really well done monsters, go to 4e. Also, Bloodied was happened in 4e. Just so you know, Bloodied happened in 4e.
Uh-huh. So is it, do the monsters kind of translate, like for the lazy GM like myself, do the monster, can you literally just pick up a 4e monster and place it in a 5e battle?
You have to do a little bit of tweaking because there's some things that obviously 5e doesn't like. So there's will versus I'm gonna like have a little issue here because I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm gonna look. Whoops. So there's like will versus attack and those all the different things, whereas 5e is it's very straightforward. So you do have to take some things out and kind of tweak a little bit.
Okay.
But the actual abilities that the monsters can do, those definitely translate.
Okay.
They translate really, really well. So I always tell people, if you want a really good monster, look at 4E Monster Manual. It's one of the better ones. I enjoy it. I think it's minimal to translate back and forth. And if you've done a combat before, you kind of know instinctually what works and what doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
totally.
So kind of flashing back forward, you said that COVID was kind of like a wake-up call for you as far as like starting to get into this space online. So what is it specifically that kind of happened where you saw a space and an opportunity to go and jump into that?
I know for a lot of people, COVID, people were inside and they were stuck inside. For me, I'm a first responder. I'm a paramedic for New York City Fire Department. I'm also a lieutenant now, so I'm an officer, so I don't ride an ambulance anymore. But back then, I was a newly minted, brand new officer. So I was on the street responding with my units in the street with paramedics and EMTs as well. So I needed something that wasn't that, because it was mentally and physically, it was a lot.
Yeah.
I won't go into it because I think people kind of understand, but it was a lot. So there needed to be something for a lot of people who were first responders or essential workers to kind of be like, I don't want to think about this. I want to do something else. And what ended up happening for me was GMing. And it started with someone what was I doing? Oh, I was looking in the window of a game store and I was kind of like, oh, I have some D&D books. And I kind of like, they weren't open, so I was just looking, and then I remembered I had some stuff in the basement, and I brought some stuff with me to work one day, and I'm sitting in my truck, kind of just reading through, and some guy like walked past, masked up, and he's like, oh my god, I haven't seen a D&D book forever. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Weirdo. The fuck? So that happened a couple of times, and then eventually some lady was like, do you DM? Do you DM? I was like, I can. I'm not gonna say no. So she gave me her information. We exchanged information, and she asked me to GM for her family because they needed something to do. They're all stuck in the house. And it was online because I'm not going to a stranger's house. Sorry, this is New York. Fuck that bullshit. I don't want to die. And so GM for her and her family online. It was a blast, and it launched the ideas of my brain going, I could do this for a living. Well, not a living. I could do this for income. And I launched my website, which is still up and running, but I don't use as much anymore.
Okay.
So
So
definitely, it was a lot of fun.
at what point, let me, how do I want to work this? At what point do we start to say we're playing these games online, we're having fun, we're engaging with other people? What point do we say Twitch is a new opportunity and we're going to switch on the camera for Twitch?
Okay. I didn't know what the fuck Twitch was. What's a Twitch? Like, that's what my, like, I think one day it was one of those days where, oddly enough, it was a slow day, which did not happen for 2020 often. I think that year, EMS responded over almost 1 million calls for that year. But it happened to be a slow day. Okay. And I was going through, I was avoiding TikTok because I was like, I'm not doing, everyone's telling me to do it. I refuse to do what people tell me to do. You can't make me. I do what I want. I'm an adult.
I'm a real boy.
You're not the boss of me. So I wasn't doing TikTok. I was on Instagram, and I saw I was on YouTube, and I saw a post for Viva La Dirt League.
Okay.
And I watched Viva La Dirt League for their short form content for about, they do little clips about video games and ridiculousness of video games, especially like PUBG and stuff, which absolutely hilarious. Check out Viva La Dirt League. I love those guys. But I saw a post where they were doing Viva La Dirt League D&D. And I was like, huh, what's that about? And the GM was Robert Hartley. Well, I'd never heard of this person before in my life. So I was like, well, I know Viva La Dirt League. They're cool. So let me check this out. And I was watching, they were doing a video, like, they weren't studio because it was still COVID around the world. And I watched that and I was like, this is fucking cool shit. So I watched that YouTube thing. And then I saw after the YouTube, they plugged all their Twitch channels. So I was like, what the fuck is Twitch? Like, I don't know what this is. So I go on Google Play, I download Twitch, I get a handle, not this one, and I do the whole thing. And I'm going through it, I'm like, what is this is like TV without the bullshit. Like, it's before Twitch started doing ads. Like, so I could watch whatever I wanted. Like, I searched for the first time, like, Japan tourism, and I'm not joking. I watched for 2 hours some guy walking around Japan.
Wow.
Don't know why, just did it. But I discovered Robert Hartley's channel, and I discovered Lord Zumba's channel, and Gen Con with Pixies and Pins, aka Sarah Moore, and a bunch of other people I kind of discovered through D&D. I was like, that's kind of cool, and I just watched for a very, very long time. It's like almost a year and a half. So it wasn't until like 2021 where I just like, this is cool, but they're not asking the questions I want to hear. I don't like it. It's like, ask what I want you to ask. Like, I'm an introvert. However, as a paramedic in New York City, I also think I'm always right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a running joke about paramedics, what paramedics think about God, what's the difference between God and paramedics, and I'll tell you the punchline to that later. But, so I was always annoyed after an interview, like, they didn't ask the right question. Like,
Yeah.
like, the fuck, ask the right question. And then it turned into like, well, I could do that the same way with 3.5 to 5 for 4E. I was like, I can do it better. I can do it better. And that's how I was like, I did a lot more research. And then I think in 2022 is when I really started. I decided, like, turn on a camera and do it. So it took me a year.
Yeah.
2 years before I decided to do it.
So what was that first kind of show that you decided to play? Was it your chatting with show?
No,
or
it was not. It was not my chatting with show. It was literally like, turn on the camera and just, hi. hi, and I happily, I had already established a great community of people that I love talking to,
Mm.
and I consider friends now. And so when I started streaming, I wasn't zero. It wasn't that first, that normal Twitch experience where you decide to stream and it's 0 or 1 person.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Okay.
Um, so I was super excited. I was like, all right, so because a lot of people were like, oh my god, Sam's streaming, and that was super cool. Um, Before I started streaming, though, I had to wait like a whole 30 days before the original start date because I didn't know that you couldn't change your name back by accidentally changing your name. And Robert Hartley spent a month making fun of me the entire time,
Okay.
just so you know.
So you start turning on the camera, you start getting out there, making content. At what
Mhm.
point do we start to make D&D content? At what point do we start to do the chatting with series? When do we start to kind of like engage in this
So
geek
it
space?
started with what did I do at first? I think I was just gaming. I think I gamed a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
and then I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to interview people.
Mm-hmm.
And getting that started was the hardest thing because people, as much as a lovely community I had, people like, who the fuck is fucking Clay? Who the fuck are you? So cold calling someone going, hey, can you be on my channel and have a chat with me about TTRPGs? No.
Yeah.
Um, so happily though, like I said, I spent a lot of time on Twitch enjoying Twitch, like
Mm-hmm.
genuinely enjoying Twitch. I think that's where people are misstepping when it comes to this.
Right.
Is that I spent a lot of time enjoying different channels, enjoying people, talking with creators, getting to know their content and the stuff that they do, and absolutely enjoying and being flabbergasted by the level of creativity. So, um, and I kind of did that on TikTok a little bit as well, but I eventually reached out to a phenomenal creator. I love him to death. I love them to death. They're absolutely the coolest person I've ever like had the honor to not only like sit at their table online, but also have them on the channel twice. Neo Soul God,
Okay.
absolutely love them. Was my first interview ever, and was so much fun. And they were so gracious, and like it was just absolutely one of the coolest things I've ever enjoyed. And proof positive, I was like, this is where I want to be. This
Yeah.
is what I want to do. I want to do that. Yes, I do home brewing on my channel. Yes, I do just chatting on my channel. Occasionally, you'll catch AP on my channel, but I want to interview people in the space.
Okay. So what is it about the interview, that process, that really seems to speak to you? Like,
There's something about sitting down and talking with someone and getting to understand what it is about their content that gets them excited. Like,
mhm.
I get excited when other people get excited. So, like, if you're excited about your stuff, I'm all in. I'm like, oh my god, that is the coolest shit. I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
So, if I've been watching your content or if I've done the research, I've been told it's research. It's not stalking. I can stop saying stalking. I used to say stalking, but I do a lot of research into my guests, and if I see the amount of effort and how much they pour into it and how much they want to do it and how much they want to be here, I want that enjoyment to be as infectious
Yeah.
as I feel just researching it. Like, so to put someone in front of the camera and get that interaction, absolutely the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Okay. So for people that may not know your channel, you put out
Mhm.
3 interviews a week, correct?
Yes, usually 3 interviews a week. Sometimes less. Like this weekend, we're not doing that. There's a birthday party happening, so we're only doing one. And bell test is happening as well, so I have to do other things
Okay.
on Fridays. So, but yeah, this week it's not gonna happen. But usually it's three a week. Yeah.
That is an incredible amount of people to bring in for interviews every week, like that
Yeah,
constant rotation of people. How do you
yeah.
maintain that, like, number one, that guest amount, uh and like
um,
just the mental energy to constantly like go in there and do the research on people and kind of do all that
mhm.
follow-up energy? How do you manage all that?
Coffee and sugar. I think, um, I think it comes from, like I said, enjoying what I do, but
Hmm.
also I am weirdly choosy about who I have on the channel. Like there are creators who I've reached out to, their actors and people in the space and adjacent to the space that I've reached out to who have not answered or said no, whatever.
Hmm.
And there are people who I will not interview. But I think it comes when it comes down to doing that amount and that many people is because I already have in my head how like who I want. So it's not a stretch to like I want this person and this
Yeah.
person and this person. It's not a stretch. It's just something I've already decided to do. Like if it was someone who if I had a producer who said, "Oh, this person's coming on," I'm like, I don't want to. I think it would be a pain in the ass.
Right.
Like if I had like a studio and a producer behind me going, "Oh, your guest this week is this person," like I'm like, I no.
You can't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. Um. So yeah, I don't think it wouldn't be as enjoyable, and it also wouldn't be as easy. I think it's easy because I want to interview these people.
Hmm.
I'm excited. You know.
So obviously I want to know who you refuse to interview because that's juicy, but I won't dive into it. What is typically things that you would look for to disqualify someone from an interview?
So, if at any point in your career you've had an issue with predatory behavior, um, uh, an inability to take accountability for something you've clearly done wrong, or backtracking, or anything to do with obviously misogyny, racism, transphobia, anything along those lines, I'm going to be like, absolutely not. If at any point there's something in your background that's like, even though it's not publicized,
Hmm.
if it can cause a problem and an uproar in the community and make people feel uncomfortable, I don't want my audience and I don't want other guests, future or past guests, to feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
So if at any point there is something in your background, I don't know, this is a stretch, you're a Nazi. That would be, but there are people who secretly are. There was a content creator who, and I'm not going to name names, but who I was going to reach out to, and then they made a post on, I believe, YouTube about something that was the paradox of tolerance, and I was like, and it caused a big deal, but it wasn't big enough that everyone was like, avoid
Right.
this person, but it was enough that I was able to see it and catch it before.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that if it's around those type of things, you're not gonna, I'm gonna say no. I guess we'll reach out to you. I've had one or two people who've reached out to me and I've literally said no.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
okay with saying no.
Yeah.
I'm okay with saying no. I'm okay with you. I'm not saying that you can't change. I'm just saying that a lot of things have to happen
Right.
before you can come on my show.
Okay. So as you are kind of like curating this space that is the Classic Sam channel and the Classic
Mhm.
Sam brand, what
Mhm.
is that kind of identity that you want to put out there?
Ooh. The identity I want to put out there. You know, I never really thought about it, but I
Uh-huh.
think I just want like a genuineness. Hi, Sisu. I just want like to be genuine. I don't. There's this weird, and I don't mean the TTRPG space because the TTRPG space is unique in that its creators are almost always very, very upfront and genuine and sincere.
Mhm.
That being said, content creation, not that.
Not the same thing.
Not the same thing. Even though we as TTRPG content creators do content create, it is not regular content creation, which is ingenuine at times and sneaky and underhanded and steely. I, for me, I want the classic Sam persona to be genuine. I want, if I have you on, I am genuinely interested in you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm talking to you, it's because I want to know what you're doing. It's not like, oh, he's the next big thing, or she's the next big thing, or they're the next big thing. That's not what this is. I want to know what you're doing. I want to connect and see like what's happening. So I want that genuine connection. So that's what I want. I want to think like they think when they come on my channel, they see me or they see my content, go, these are real interviews. There's stuff that she's interested in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the next trend, because trends are stupid. They are. I don't care what anyone says.
So you go to a lot of cons. I know you.
Yes.
We met at PAX this year.
Yes.
I know you really enjoy the con scene and the con environment. That sort of kind of collaborative. The everything that comes from that. What has been like? At what point were you going to cons and that kind of attention kind of shifted, where you weren't going as a fan, you were going as a creator?
Gen Con last year. So
really?
Yeah. So before Gen Con last year, I had gone to Brooklyn Comic Con, Long Island Tabletop. I went to a few smaller ones. So I had gone to a bunch of cons before Gen Con, and then I was kind of waffling about going to Gen Con. I wasn't sure, and then a lovely person in the community reached out and was like, "Are you going to Gen Con?" I was like, "Yes." I had just bought a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Yes, I'm going to Gen Con. I'm a little nervous, but yes, I'm going to Gen Con." They were like, "Okay, do you have a place to stay?" I'm like, "No."
Okay.
No. And they offered for me to stay with them and a group of other creators at an Airbnb. And I was like, all right, cool. Okay. And two of those creators are very, very good friends of mine now. I consider them very good friends. All of the people there I consider friends. I love them all. But two of those creators who still stream, one is on a hiatus right now. Dread GM.
Okay.
From Australia. I love Dread. I love them from the bottom of my heart. Love Dread and Nerdwitch, and it was at that convention, hanging out with them, meeting DM Dave from Careful Cantrip, meeting AJ, meeting AJ Winters, meeting Rob and Dag, and all these different creators, Arcane Anthems, all these different creators. They knowing me from my content clicked over from me being, oh, I love the guy's work, to being, oh, you're a content creator too. Like it was a surreal. So there was a surreal moment that happened when I got a phone call from DJ from One Shots Tavern. They're like, for Andrew, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just got out of demoing a game for a friend of mine. They're like, all right, come to this address. I'm like, why? So the New York came out for a second. The New York bit came out. I'm like, why? Who's going to be there? Where are you sending me?
What's going on?
What's going on? I'm scared. I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
They're like, get in the fucking Uber. Like, they say like this when they like, come to this address. I can hear their voice though. Get in the fucking Uber and come to the address. And I go to the address, and it's Great Bar, and it was a private content creator party held by Devin from Start Playing Games. And I was just like, hi everybody. like it was like one of those moments like, I don't know what I'm here. Yeah. Okay.
That first content creator exclusive event you go to was like, this is weird.
This is so weird. This is not how I thought this was gonna go. Okay. So after that, I went back to Airbnb, hung out with Dread a little bit, and they're like, "Of course you got invited." And I'm like, "I don't know why." He's like, "You have a following on, like, are you okay?" Like, I had to get a snap it out. Like, then I was like, snappy out. I'm like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I am now." Wasn't then, but I am now. So it was at Gen Con that switchover happened.
Yeah.
So very
Okay.
weird. Very weird.
All right. Well, as we're kind of getting ready to come to the end of this interview, I'm gonna kind of shift a little bit here, and I want to
Mhm.
know: is there any kind of like dream projects or collaborations that you want to do in the future?
Yes,
Okay.
I am dying, and I mean this, dying to interview the from the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who
Okay.
forward. And it includes the Fugitive Doctor. I want to interview every single one. I don't know why. For one, I love David Tennant. No one can tell me that David Tennant is not perfect.
Okay.
David Tennant is perfect. Okay, so if anyone knows David Tennant or his wife, they are perfect. Period. That being said, I want to view every single Doctor going forward because I am a massive, and I have freaking stuff behind me. I have a sonic screwdriver. I have Cyberman. I have stuff behind me. All Doctor Who stuff. I love Doctor Who. I got dice from Smoking Glue Guns, Whitney,
Uh-huh.
and Whitney calls these dice IKEA dice. These are Doctor Who dice, okay? Because it's the same color scheme as Doctor Who. Here it says the Doctor Who dice.
Gonna be fighting Whitney on this one, I see.
Pretty much. I mean, she's like, "Stop calling it. It's fucking the. I love Doctor Who. Okay,
Yeah.
right now for me, I am fixated. Although I love David Tennant, and if I could ever get David Tennant on my channel, I would freaking lose my shit. I'm fixated on the Fugitive Doctor because the idea that the first female Black Doctor was that Doctor is amazing to me, and that her story is yet to be told.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can catch a little bit in the 13th Doctor, but I need to interview the Fugitive Doctor. I need to interview them. I have to. It has to happen.
Clip this, guys.
I know.
Put it out there. Let's make this happen.
Somebody. Look. If I can get the Fugitive Doctor on, super excited. Like, so people are like, who's the Fugitive? Jill Martin, lovely person. She is an actress from England, I want to say.
Okay.
I believe she's a British actress. I want to say. I would have to look to be sure.
Aren't all the doctors English? I don't watch Doctor Who.
No, Scottish. I think a couple are Scottish.
Okay.
So they're all from the UK, but I think a couple are Scottish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever like received any unexpected feedback that has kind of really shaped the way you approach content creation now?
There was some feedback from a friend of mine who, after the stream, said that they were uncomfortable with how my guest was talking and how I was interacting with them. And it was during a time where I was very inexperienced in guiding how interviews go and understanding, you know, when something is uncomfortable or maybe problematic, how to shift out of it. So that was a turning point in learning when to pivot and how to shift out of certain things in an interview, which it's something you have to learn. That's not something that comes instinctually. Like, conversationally, if you are in a conversation and something's uncomfortable, you're going to kind of laugh it off because that's human nature.
Right.
Unless you're actively thinking that I'm going to call this person out or call them in or say something.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the norm. The norm is to laugh it off and go and move on. That's the norm. So when you are interviewing, it's something you need to learn. Like you have to learn how to pivot. You have to learn to kind of go, all right, that's not where we want to go with this. We're gonna go the other way. Like that is something you learn. And that it was that feedback that I got me to kind of like, okay, I need to learn how to do this
Yeah.
quick. You know.
Okay. So, that is going to bring us to the final point of our interview.
Mhm.
And this is the last question I ask every single one of my guests.
Oh God.
So, and this is for the TikTok. So go ahead and get yourself all ready.
Okay.
Sam, what message or impact do you hope to leave on the geek space through your content?
Okay. So when you told me this, I was like, how the hell am I gonna answer this? I still don't know how to answer this, but we're gonna give it a try. I want to leave. I want the dash to mean something. What do I mean by the dash? So everyone either at some point has born on, dead, died on dates. You were born on this date, you died. I want the dash to the dash in between, the in between part to mean something, to have an impact, so that people kind of go, they brought information to the space. They brought new faces and they understanding and new voices to the space. They allow people to shine. I want people to be able to shine through my content. So a lot of the times, and I talk about this a lot because you got to do it too. Sit in the compliment bathtub.
It's the
So
worst.
and it is so lovely. Okay, sit in the compliment bathtub. So I want my guests, I want the community to be able to be the best that they can be through the interview, through my interview. I want them to be able to say what they want to say, show off their content, show off their work through my interview process, because I feel like 2 hours is a lot. 2 hours is a lot, but it's like you get to tell people what you're about and expand on the work that you're doing, which is important. I know it's gaming, I know it's TTRPGs, and it's very niche, it's a small corner of the universe, but it's still important because of the mental health lift that it gives to people, an escapism that it gives to people, and also it helps people to be able to have an outlet for sharing and charity work and connection. So that's what I want.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I feel like we could end up having another whole conversation because there's so much more I wanted to get to, but we definitely did not.
I mean, look, I'm down for whatever. Like, if you want I'm happy to come back on. I'm happy to stay. Whatever you want. I'm cool with it.
Well, we are going to open up the chat to viewer questions. If you have any questions for Sam, go ahead and start getting those in the chat. While those questions come in, we're going to do the dicey questions segment. These are 20 random questions determined by D20 roll. That being said, Sam, go ahead and give me a D20 roll.
I want to roll my beholder dice because I haven't rolled those in a while. And we got a... What the fuck is that? This is why I don't roll these dice, because I can't tell what the hell the damn number is. We got an 8.
Okay. If you were a D&D class, what would you be and what would your stat build look like?
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man. A wizard rogue hybrid?
Okay.
Because I really want... I've always thought of wizards as, like, assassins in my mind. I don't know why. Like, I feel like they should, like their fireballs should be knives.
Just Ben Affleck and the accountant.
That's all I feel like magic missiles should be like, ninjas like ninja stars or something. I feel like it should be like super like Born Identity type of...
I feel like you got a character there. There's got to be something for this.
There's something there. There's something about this. Like I want a wizard rogue assassin hybrid.
Yeah.
I've yet to build that. I probably will sometime soon, but someone needs to give me the outlet to make this character. I need an AP that is. I need an AP that is going to be centered around that type of character because I feel like I can't pull out a wizard assassin for like freaking going in a dungeon. That's not going to work. I need to be able to like sleuth and kill things from a fucking tower. Like that's what it needs to happen.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. That actually sounds legitimately awesome. I really want to see that character. Okay, give me another D20 roll, and let's keep those questions coming in, guys.
Okay. 12.
If you had a spiritual weapon, what would it look like?
Oh my god.
You're getting all the D&D questions here.
Weapon. Oh, okay. If I had a spiritual weapon, what would it look like? I don't know if it would be a weapon or an ability. I feel like the ability to oh god, it's like the ability to understand the vagueness of future events. Like I don't want to know exactly what happens, but vaguely what may happen in the future. And I want the people around me to be able to hear those thoughts. Like this is only coming from my more recent rabbit hole of Chinese dramas. Don't ask me why. I am completely drowning in Chinese and Korean dramas. Don't ask me why. But
wait, well, hold on. What's the recent Korean K-drama you've been watching?
So my favorite one right now is the Demon from Hell, the Judge from Hell.
Okay.
Absolutely, go watch this. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. It's absolutely amazing. I actually wrote a one-shot around that freaking movie. I love that show. I think it's a mini series. It's like maybe 15 or 20 episodes. It's not long.
There is no short K-dramas. Each one of the single episodes an hour and a half long.
Yeah. It's great. It's fucking great.
15 episodes is like 30 hours of content.
It's so good. And you can get so much content out of it. It's so good. The Judge from Hell is so good. I'm just saying, go watch it. Like, you gotta watch it. That one, and then the Chinese dramas are all like weirdly ancient dramas where there's one trope where they constantly use where a divine baby was born and everyone can hear this baby's thoughts.
Okay.
And this baby knows vague knowledge of the future. So they're like, I love it. I don't know why that is so. I think that's a cool fucking, like, this baby's like divine and like it's its holy ability, and I'm like, that is the coolest shit. If I was a baby, I want people to hear my baby thoughts.
My possibly future predicting baby thoughts.
It's literally like it'll be like, oh no, daddy's gonna die from beheading because he touched the empress like foot or something, and it's like he's like, I would never touch the empress foot, and then sure enough, like something happens where you might have oh, I'm not gonna touch her foot. Like, it's shit like that. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I love it. I think it's amazing.
Oh boy. All right, give me one.
Look, I'm nuts. I keep telling people this. I'm absolutely out of my mind.
Right, we try warning people, and they just don't seem to fucking want to listen.
Believe me. I have a few people like, I know, but most people are like, no, she's so put together. Like, their voices.
Gotcha, bitch.
like, well, told you. Their voices, you know, their conversations happening on a regular basis.
That's
even
fair.
when I'm sleeping.
That tracks. Give me one more D20 roll, then we're gonna jump over to these viewer questions.
Sure. 15.
Okay. What is your favorite movie or TV series genre?
Oh God. So if I had to go mainstream, my favorite like thing to watch or movies to watch or genre to watch are like I started spy, intrigue, espionage type of thing. So like Scandal, Born Identity, what's another one?
Did you watch Jack Ryan? On Amazon?
Yes,
Ooh,
Jack
so
Ryan.
good.
Oh my God, there's a whole bunch. I could probably go down to like this. Well, there's one with, oh God, there's so many of them. And I can't think of like, but right now, like if they came on the TV like right now, I'd watch. Like, so every Bourne movie,
Mhm.
watching it. Every Scandal episode, especially with Papa Pope, watching it. How to get away with murder, watching it. Like all those things where like someone's gonna die, and there's a gray area character that's not bad, but definitely not good.
Big 24 fan, I bet.
Oh God, I love 24. Oh, I love 24. Was so good. 24 was great. Oh God, and then the other one where the
Designated Survivor.
Oh, so good.
He's a good actor.
Shit like that, I love it. Like,
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
yeah,
Okay.
all day.
Then we're going to dive into our viewer questions. We got a couple in here. First one's from Curly Insane Guy. Is there a genre system off the top of your head that you'd like to play on an AP?
That I haven't played. If there's one I haven't played, I want to play Vampire. Well, I want to play the new version of Vampire the Masquerade. I played the original, so it was years ago. I want to play the new VTM.
Okay.
The newer version of that.
What are you doing on Sundays?
Sitting in my bed.
Okay.
If I'm not interviewing someone,
we may have a talk because there may be a show in the pipeline.
Oh God, I can't wait. See, did I can pull out the Wizard Assassin?
I've never played VTM, so I don't know if that works.
I don't know. I will figure it out. Let's see.
Yeah.
So that VTM, the new one, and I want to play. Haven't looked at it, but I want to play Daggerheart.
Okay.
You know, I've heard so many good things about it. People who beta tested it and stuff. I want to play. I want to learn how to play. I want to understand it. I want to play Daggerheart. So yeah.
Okay. Is there a system like that you have played that you like? I really want to go back to this and do something more with this on an AP.
Sagas.
Sagas?
Yeah.
What about that?
I just the idea of it. One is role play heavy. I love so it's in the name, people. Just so you know. All the people are like, oh, I didn't get to roll the dice. TTRPG. I'm just saying. But I like the fact that it leads into role play and that the dice rolls are not calculus. Like, I love D&D. Don't get me wrong. I do, as much as Wizard of the Coasts and Hasbro get on my nerves. I love D&D. That being said, it's calculus.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll backtrack. It's algebra. It's a lot of math, if you let it be. And I don't want to sometimes. So,
fair.
Hence why I'm so heavily ruler cool a lot of times. Don't get me wrong, when it comes to combat, you're going to have to roll what you need to roll. The math is going to happen. But I love the idea of the rolls that we do aren't crazy. It's not like a D12 plus your modifier, plus your proficiency. It's not that. It's like roll a D6. Oh, you rolled low. Success. Yay. So I love that. I love the idea of it.
Yeah. If you could design your own system, how would that kind of work for you? Like, what would you prioritize and not prioritize in a game?
I think design a system that's a heavy lift. But I will say, because I love wizards a lot and the idea of wizards, I hate spell slots.
Okay.
I think spell slots are stupid. It's the dumbest shit in the world. However, you have health points galore. And I feel like if you are learning magic, let's say magic is real, and if you learn magic for real, I feel like the idea that it has to cost you physically something means that it has to cost you health points.
Okay.
So, and this goes back to reading. constant fantasy books, but there's a book I read years ago where magic exists in the world, but magic users, the cost was it was pain either from themselves or
Hmm.
from a proxy. Um, Wealthy people would have a bank of proxies or a room of proxies, or people who they would pay to be their proxy so they could use magic without feeling pain.
Oh.
People who just use magic would use themselves, so they use their life force or their health points to use magic. So it would cost them something physically, either shorten their lifespan or they would be incapacitated for a day. So for me, it would be, and the idea of D&D, if you're a wizard or a sorcerer, whatever, if you're using magic, and you use a certain level spell, that is going to cost you a certain amount of health points permanently, or exhaustion, or something
Yeah.
physically. So one, you have to think about this. Like, do I want to
How
use
bad do I want this fireball?
do I really want this fireball? Like, oh, this shit is gonna cost you like 40 health points. That's gonna hurt. Like, do I want the like, or it's gonna cost me 2 levels of exhaustion for like 5 days? Like,
Yeesh.
what is it going to cost you?
Yeah.
Do you want to do so? It's now your decision is different on how to cast magic. Now your decision, it plays into role play.
Yeah.
Like, it becomes part of the story, you know. So I think it's a better system than a spell slot, because spell slot means nothing. Like, it means nothing. I can go to sleep, I have more spell slots. Fuck
Yeah.
this. You know. Like, but if I cast fireball, you know, but I just scorch my fucking hand off, or all my fingernails fell out. I don't mean to be gross, sorry guys, but
Oh God, that got dark.
see, dark. I'm fine. Hi, Keon. It's fine. But the next morning, your nail's not gonna grow back. You're still in pain, and you're diminished by a certain amount of health points.
Yeesh.
Deal with it.
Yeah. All right.
Also, how you gonna roleplay that? Like, I'll love
Yeah.
to see that.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How the hell do you play that? That is gonna bring us to the end. Finish it up pretty early tonight, actually.
Yay!
That all being said, thank you so much for joining me first and foremost, Sam. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Where can people catch you next? What do you got going on?
So the next interview is on Sunday. Actually, let me look this up, because that's a good goddamn question. Like, where are you gonna be next? I don't know. No. So Sunday, I will be interviewing Jack Kellum, awesome content creator. Met them in person at PAX
Nice.
this year. Super cool. It's gonna be 2 p.m. early stream, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be the only interview this weekend, because birthday parties are happening. There are 14 and 50-year-olds I have to deal with. And then the following week is going to be a bunch of other 3 interviews coming back to back. Actually 2. Craig of the Inspiration, and then Claude Dardar. Super excited about that. And then we get Cloud Kill Connor coming up on the 30th. So a lot of people happening. I can't wait.
That's amazing.
And then you can find me on other people's channels. You just gotta like look.
Do you have anything you can announce?
I will say this: I need to get better. I need to get better at like plugging stuff like that. Because I was like, I'm gonna be on Jill's channel. I know. First of all, I thought it was yesterday.
Okay.
That's first and foremost. In my head, this was happening on Wednesday. I've been telling people all week that this shit was happening on Wednesday. For a week straight. Wednesday, catch me on New Age Geeks. Wednesday, New Age Geeks. Shit, Thursday.
Well, we're glad you made it.
Hi.
What about at conventions coming up? You doing anything at any conventions coming up
so
that you can talk about?
Is happening, and I'm super excited about it. So I will be at Gen Con this year again. I cannot wait, because I have 4 panels and 1 AP happening. you could just look up Classic Sam on Gen Con Indie on their events page, and all those panels we will come up with some amazing guests. One of which is Savannah, aka Not Quite Novelist, aka the DIY Witch, Sarah Moore, Brother Keon. Hi, Keon. We got Black Sparrow and Meadow the GM and Taylor, Spunky Taylor. A lot of amazing content creators are going to be on those panels, and then we got a couple APs happening. So I will be posting that in my Discord, so people can know where to find it, and it will also be on Gen Con if you look it up as well.
Okay. Is that getting posted on your Instagram as well? That
Yes,
fancy little graphic.
It's gonna be. Thank you, Shannon from Imagineif, for doing that for me, because Shannon is fucking amazing. Because Shannon did this for me, plus another post, and I will post it. People see it. You have it as well. But Shannon did this for me, and in a way that freaked me out because I thought that I was missing AP. I think she's like, Shannon was like, "Can you send me this link? Can you send me this headshot?" I'm like, am I doing AP?
What?
Did I forget? And she's like, "Okay, can you send me a beacons or a link tree?" I'm like, what the fuck? Did I not schedule? Am I part of the AP with Shannon?
You're just looking at your phone calendar like, fuck, what did I forget?
I'm looking at the calendar, freaking out. And then they sent me that whole thing, and I was like, oh my god, that's so sweet.
That is sweet. It looks great too.
It's so cool. I'll post it in it's finalized, so now I can put it up there.
Nice.
I was waiting for one more thing, but we're gonna see what happens. So
all right. Well, I've got nothing else for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. This has been amazing. Thank you, Curly,
It's so
for
fun.
the compliment. I appreciate it. It's always nice to be able to speak to a fellow interviewer.
I know. Like I said, this side of the table is weird.
Yeah.
For me. It's so bizarre.
It is definitely strange.
You said the same thing on my stream. Like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I agree. This is weird. But I enjoyed it. I had a blast. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You can catch my interview on your channel. It's on your...
Yes. It's gonna be on YouTube, so you can catch your interview on my channel on YouTube as soon as I get it. It's gonna be edited soon. I promise. I promise. I'm gonna sit down one day. I'm gonna call in from work. I'm gonna edit all day.
Nice. That's what I spent all day doing. What was it, like Tuesday? Just editing shit.
Oh,
it's not fun. No.
Look, to all my editors out there, I hold grace in my heart for you. I love you from the all the editors in the world. You're amazing.
Yes.
I hate it.
You earned that $1.
You earned that shit. That shit is fucking foul.
All right. Make sure you go ahead and follow Sammy on all of her things because they're amazing. Stick around for the raid. We're gonna go find someone to raid. I don't know who yet, but I'll bring it up and figure it out in the post. I got nothing else. If you got nothing else, remember, we love you, geeks. Good night.
Bye, guys.